and totally the biggest problem. Totally forgot. The biggest problem about the Nikon D500 is that right, list of things. 1, who's it for? 2, image quality. 3, ergonomics. 4, build quality. 5, comparisons. 6, problems and drawbacks. 7, when to buy. Okay, that's the first time I've ever scripted any photography video, so now you know what's going to come along. So get myself pretty, take off my glasses, and start talking about the Nikon D500. Before, I'll start squatting down a little bit. Before I go any further in this video, I just want to say I love this camera. I've been given it. I've been, randomly, a person that saw my videos on YouTube, lives in the same city, was like, Dom, do you want to borrow my Nikon D500? And I was like, absolutely. So I haven't bought this. I've just had it to review. So because I haven't bought it and I don't need to sell it, I'm not promoting it beyond what I actually think of it. And all I can say is I have taken very good care of it if you are watching this just now. So, but what I will say is that it's a great camera, but it's a specific camera. It has specific things about it. Some good things, well, a lot of good things. We'll go there. But there's a couple of things which it's missing. So I can see a Nikon D500S coming out in the future kind of thing. So let me go back into the list because I've already gone on a rant and I forgot about to say. Okay, who's it for? Right, so the Nikon... Oh, I'm doing this in 4K. Actually, I could stand... If I stand at this side, does that look weirder? Or if I stand at this side, probably better. Okay, then I could put stuff over here if I need to do that. I'm also going to need a lot of coffee to keep on focus. Proper filter coffee. Anyway, back to the point. Okay, so this is an APS-C, everyone knows the stats. APS-C, 20 megapixels, 10 frames a second, super duper, SD card, XQD card, pro body, no flash, tilty out screen, 4K video, loads of autofocus points. Done. Okay, that's what it is. Now, who's it for? Okay, so if we're talking about who this camera is for, it has specific purposes. So the 10 frames a second, the quality build, the build quality, the quality of the build quality, and all that kind of stuff really promotes this to sports photographers. Sports and wildlife. Wildlife, sports, not necessarily landscape, but wildlife, because things are moving fast and you need lots of frames a second. Sports, because what I just said there again. It doesn't promote itself straight away to portrait photographers because it doesn't have a pop-up flash. Now I say that because a pop-up flash, not because you're going to use the pop-up flash for portraits, obviously, but because the pop-up flash we have in the D700, the D800, the other ones as well. The pop-up flash has been able to use as a commander flash for other flashes to go off when you're using portrait stuff. So that kind of makes you think, not for portrait photographers. Additionally, it doesn't... Look, it's got a real red light here. Don't know what the red light does, but it doesn't have an AF illuminator. So if I'm focusing in dark, see, I've got it on, there's nothing to brighten up the area in front of the camera for it to try and get focus. Unlike this nearly decade-old Fuji S5 Pro with its... No, that's not working. Single. See? It doesn't have this. So with this AF illuminator, it can really help focusing in super low light on things which are close, within like 5 meters kind of thing. This doesn't have that. So if you're in super duper low light, this struggles more than a decade-old Fuji S5 Pro, a 6 megapixel APS-C size camera. However, in good lighting, And even in fairly crap lighting, so it's only when you get down to really, really, really crap lighting, in good to bad lighting, this is fantastic. The focusing is fast, it's efficient, and it's correct. However, maybe it's with this lens. I've got the 16 to 80mm f2.8 to f4 kit lens which came with this. I love this lens. It has done a lot more times it's focused on the closest thing rather than the object. So I've been taking pictures of my 20-month-old child. And there's been a few times where I've been like, hey, let's take pictures of Logan. And a lot of times I shoot like this. I just go boom, boom, boom. I don't look through the eye hole. I don't even watch the screen. I'm just like, oh yeah, because he's down there. My back is destroyed. So I'm like, I'll just take photos down here. Like that. And I'm expecting around about 80 to 90% of the photos to come out good. And I would say 80 to 90% of the photos come out too good. But don't expect it to be a 100% success machine. There are times where you're going to actually need to actually look through the eye hole, maybe actually decide the focus points. Oh no, I've totally gone off piste here. So who's it for? So yeah, so I'm trying to say it's for sports and wildlife photographers. That's the main point of this camera. Oh right, I need more coffee. Point number 2, image quality. Fantastic. Okay, point number 3. Okay, I'll go a little bit more into that. So 20 megapixels is more than you'll ever need for 95% of my audience here. Its dynamic range is amazing. Its ability to recover highlights is very, very good. Its ability to recover shadows is very, very good. Its high ISO performance is staggering. That is like, whoa! Like I was shooting this morning, in fact. Let's see, I was taking pictures of Logie bugs, which I can now swipe across. Nope, I'm swiping the wrong way. Yeah, I was shooting him at 12,000 ISO, and certainly on the back of the screen, I am more than impressed with it. Just what was that? 3,200, oh, just... Focusing, somebody's focused on the TV, I'm going to focus on Logan. That's why we call it the idiot box. Just the ISO ability of this, if you're not pixel peeping, just so good. When I've looked at it on my 27-inch iMac, full screen kind of stuff, I'm up to 3,200. That's kind of how I'm feeling. The 12,000 ISO for weddings, absolutely. Oh, I would say this is good for weddings. I should have said that in the past. Sorry, who's it for? Potential total awesome backup wedding camera. 1,000,000% yes. For weddings, if you're shooting with like the Nikon D500. I don't know, I know a lot of photographers don't shoot with the D800-esque for weddings just because it's just too much. But a lot of them do the D750 because it's 24 megapixels. Some even go all the way up to like the D4s and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, D4 for, but okay, D4, D500, brilliant combo for weddings, backup, second shooter, whatever, given this camera, it's fantastic. So second camera for wedding shoots. If you are a new beginner, just coming out in photography, just breaking out in photography, then this will do you for weddings. You will be able to get amazing shots for weddings if you're using f2.8s and f1.8s lenses kind of stuff. It will do so well. I'm just going to pause here because I need to burp. So yeah, image quality, the dynamic range and the recoverable shadows and the recoverable highlights from this camera is on par with pretty much any other full frame camera and above pretty much all other APS-C size camera. The Nikon D500 humps so much other cameras. And so to the point where image quality with a lot of cameras is already fantastic. We're talking about 9/10ths here, or you know, the minute differences. This is a minute difference, but it's maybe 2 jumps up, and it's really, really good. Ergonomics. Okay, next one. Ergonomics. It's a good feeling camera. If you are coming from the Nikon D300 or the D700 or the D800, instant kind of, I get this camera. If coming from the D600s, the D750s, you're going to go, ooh, what is this nice new bit at the top? Ooh, what is this? How do I work this? That's professional. That's really good. I like this bit. And obviously it comes with all the kind of weatherproofing, so don't be worried if you're shooting out in the rain or in hot conditions or in cold conditions. This camera will be happily able to do it. If you're doing a wedding in the snow, don't worry, this camera, a little bit of snow falls on it, you're going to be absolutely fine. It's fantastic. It's hardcore. Hardcore. I would say with about 1 week, I would say it'd only take about 1 week for you to become fluent with the buttons and dials on this camera. Pretty much, there's a whole bunch of buttons at the side and other places where you can dedicate their function. And there's things which you can do through the eye hole. You can get the level, the spirit level for up and down, tilt and left and right and all that kind of stuff in the eye hole from organising a certain button at the side. That's what I've done. It's very customizable. And although I have complained in the past that the buttons are a little bit small, why not make them a little bit bigger? Where's my Fuji? Like the buttons on the Fuji, which is a decade-old camera, are just a little bit bigger than these ones. However, on the plus side is that they're a little bit more raised up. We're talking about not even millimeters. We're talking about just fractions of millimeters. They're a little bit more raised up, so your thumb's not just gliding over them. For example, I did a review of the Sony RX100 Mark IV, and I was saying, that's like learning Braille. You're like, I can't tell where the buttons are. This, although they're a little bit smaller, they're a bit bumpier, which means they're easier to get hold of. They're easier to memorize where they are. Again, I would say a bit too many buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a line. 7, so you've got to memorize 7 in a line there. If we're just counting all the buttons, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 buttons on the back. 17 buttons on the back. So that's why I say it's going to take you about a week to become fluent, of constant use, to become fluent with how, so you can effectively be bang, 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 bang. I need to change the setting. Boom, 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 boom. Done. I don't even need to look at the buttons. Done. It's just all magically done. The only thing which I don't like, or which is a little bit difficult, is, for me, the ISO button. Fantastic placement there. To change ISO, I can just press that and roll that. Awesome. Then if I want to change aperture, I turn that. If I want to change shutter speed, I turn that. Fantastic. All one hand. However, if I want to go from a set ISO setting to auto ISO setting, which sometimes can be like, hey, I don't know what situation I'm going to be in, let's quickly smash it into auto ISO. I have to press that ISO button, then bring this finger up. If you're a guitar player, this is a piece of cake. Bring this finger up and then rotate that. And you've got to rotate it just one stop and then bring your finger back down. Ooh, finger cramp. So, yeah, if there's a way to maybe change how you can go from set ISO to auto ISO, which doesn't require, I just don't, maybe it's just me because I crack my fingers or something, but I can't do that fluently. I can't do it. But we're talking about a tiny, tiny problem here. Yes, the last thing I would say about the ergonomics, two things. One, if you turn the light on, you can't see it in this light. Okay, in dark, I can't be bothered making it dark. This all lights up. That's awesome, I like that, that's good in certain super low light situations. Two things. One, I do like how it has touchscreen, flicky photo features. That's kind of cool. And let's say I want to go zoom on an eyeball. Look at that. I'm going to put that as the main photo there. Look at that. Look at my eye. Awesome. If you have it like that, that's cool. But if I then go to menu, I'm like, cool, no, can't do the menus. Can't even flick, can't even change. That's annoying. What is cool, if you have it in like live view mode and all that, I can focus and take a photo with just touching the back of the screen. So that's kind of cool. I like that a lot. But it's just so bizarre how they haven't added it into the menu system. No idea, no reason, why not? Next one, build quality. Oh, I think I've already done that. Okay, I'm not quite in the order which I set it up to be. Okay, comparisons. People are comparing this to the Canon, was it the 7D Mark II? Look at other people's videos on comparisons. This, if you're a Nikon shooter, this feels so right. The menu systems are totally normal, the buttons are all in the right places, all very good. If you're a Canon shooter and you come over to this, you're going to be like, I don't understand this stuff. Way too many settings. However, as I say, it'll only take about a week for you to get it going. The other comparisons are with, like, this is being compared to full frame cameras. So the Nikon D500, and even like people are looking at the image quality in comparison to the Nikon D810, and like, that's the level that we're at with this camera, and that is just staggering for an APS-C size camera. Like 100%, I say this is absolutely astonishing. Number six, we're getting to the problems here. Okay, I've actually kind of already mentioned them. So the first problem, as I said, no AF illuminator. So in super low light situations, when you don't have a pop-up flash, or when you don't have a flash, you're going to really struggle with focusing, like in super low light situations. Additionally, if you're like, hey, I've got two flashes and I want to use them on my model, hey, I can't use Commander because or you need to buy a radio transceiver kind of thing, then attach that. It then comes up to about another £400 worth of gear that you need for radio frequency flashes and transceivers and receivers and blah 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 blah. If only they just put a pop-up flash here, would have saved so much hassle. And the last point I would say is the touchy screen, all great, why is it not in the menu? So that's the downside of it. The last thing I would say, which I find confusing, is the fact that this is billed as a sports camera, maybe a wildlife camera. With that, a lot of it will be. In fact, I shall make the actual noise. Shots like that. It won't be, like what I have found is I've been sticking my eye through the eye hole, and I get a little nose juice there, which is a bit weird. But what I haven't done is bother to do that. This is a time-consuming, fiddly thing that you need to do, which if you're shooting sports or wildlife, shooting animals, taking the time to pull this out, fiddle, get it at an angle, compose your images, this just seems wrong. This seems far more for the non-super fast sports kind of stuff. And for me, it's a fiddly thing, and to make it strong. Ooh, wow, something even just popped out there. To make it strong and reliable, they've made it stiff. And difficult to get out, and in effect, fiddly. So again, hey, I'm a snow sports photographer. Imagine you're in your big gloves and you're trying to get your fingers to just click that bit out and then that bit out and then do that in like ski gloves or even just like thin gloves. It's an odd addition to something which is billed as a sports and wildlife camera. If just putting that as a normal screen meant that we could save another £200 on it, I would go for the £200 one. Oh, and totally the biggest problem. Totally forgot. The biggest problem about the Nikon D500 is that it's about 2-3 years too late. But if you are getting into photography, if you are building up your photography stuff, get a Nikon D500, absolutely. If you are already a wedding photographer, portrait photographer and all that kind of stuff, this, fantastic, get it as a second body, all that kind of stuff. If you want a camera which is going to last you for about 5 years, boom, go get this. This is going to be fantastic, no problem. The problem for me with it being so late, we've been waiting for Nikon to bring out a pro body camera with great ergonomics that was going to last more than a little trickle of water. Unfortunately for me and a lot of other photographers, we've gone. We've like, sorry Nikon, bye bye. Nikon's also had so many quality control issues with the D750 having 3 callbacks, the D600 having oil problems and a callback, in fact a federal lawsuit against Nikon for selling cameras which are a little bit broken. Nikon just haven't had a good time. This camera is a potentially fantastic camera, but Nikon have lost a lot of their subscriber base. Their user base, I think is probably the better word. And with that, it's very difficult for now for like somebody like me. It's kind of moved on to a very light, mirrorless, 16 megapixel, 12 frames a second. No, this one's 8 frames a second. The Panasonic GH4 is 12 frames a second. Or is it 14? Something huge. Or even 30 frames a second if you're shooting in 4K burst mode. Oh, amazing jobs. So that's that 8 megapixel kind of stuff. That for me to then either branch out and go back to Nikon, or ditch Panasonic and go, or people with Olympus or Fuji, ditch their stuff that they've moved on to go back to Nikon. I would say that this is a camera that could promote people to go back, but unfortunately I think it's only going to promote about 50% of the people that have already left. It's got to be a difficult one to reinvest back in Nikon. A lot of people I know have sold all their Nikon gear, their Nikon lenses, their Nikon cameras, their Nikon flashes, and they've like moved on to Fuji. People raving about the X Pro 1 or the XT1 and all that kind of stuff. Loads of people going on to Olympus. And a lot of people just kind of going, yeah, it's brought the fun back in photography. And I would say totally going back to like this tiny little camera, the ability that this little one can do is 90%. Okay, the image quality, I would say, because this is astonishing, the image quality of this is about 70% of this. But the functions and features are about 90% of this. This was £350. This is £2,000. With a kit lens. Okay, so around about £1,900. £350. 90% of the features, if not in some cases a few more. For example, panorama mode. And what was that other one? 4K. Oh no, it's got 4K. 4K, yeah, well, you know, all that kind of stuff. Very difficult for ex-users to come back to Nikon. This is a camera that could potentially make people come back to it, but unfortunately a lot of people are already gone. That's a bummer for Nikon. So I think they'll have massive sales of this compared to the other cameras, but in general, the decline is down, which is a super duper bummer. Okay, last thing in my list. When to buy. If you're watching this in May 2016, do not buy this just now. This will drop like a stone in about 6 months' time. In 6 months' time, okay, so let's say around about Christmas time, 2016, I reckon this will be around about 1,200, 1,300, maybe even with the kit lens, or this awesome kit lens. I'm going to do a whole review of this 16 to 80 f2.8 to 4 f4 lens. I love this combo, but at the moment I would say if you can hold out, if you can survive with your Panasonics and your Olympuses and your Fujis until Christmas time, you could save yourself around about £600, £700, £800. You could save yourself 2 to 2.5 of these cameras for just waiting 6 months to buy this camera. So yeah, in the end, fantastic camera. Couple of things which seem counterintuitive to have a fiddly, difficult, firm screen for a camera which is made for doing megabursts. For wildlife and sports. And at a price point which is a little bit off-putting for current users of other camera systems at the moment. So, there you go. there's my super duper review. One last thing is that if you are on my photography channel, you may not know that I've got two other channels. One is my exercise channel, which you can check out, which is Dom Bauer Exercise. I think the actual name is just youtube.com/Dom Bauer. And I've also got another one on this channel, so I've got Dom's Talks. And a lot of that is going to be about me dealing with my first ever newborn baby, little Logan Bauer. Born on the 4th of September, and so I'm learning to be a dad. So it's all my mistakes and all the things which I'm learning which are quite useful. So if you want to see more about little Logan and how he's getting on, check out Dom's Talks. And if you want to see, I've also got Dom's Flights as well. So again, I'm doing a lot of stuff flying my DJI Phantom around the places, and also going through the process of getting the license to do it commercially. So if you want to see how I'm doing that, check out the Dom's Flights channel as well, which I put all the links to down below. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.